What's up, family? Trail here, and we have some new data that was released yesterday. The CPI data, which measures the January inflation rate, was actually released, and it appears that inflation actually went back up. Also, we have lawmakers calling for a minimum of $60,000 per year for our teachers. And last but not least, we have one state that is expected to receive a round of stimulus checks sometime this week. Now, before we get started, you guys already know what to do. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, as well as hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Now, let's go ahead and start with the video. On Tuesday, we received the data. We are talking about the January CPI inflation data, in which that information was released, and it showed us that for the month of January, the inflation rate slows down to around 6.4%, but the monthly inflation rate actually rose by 0.5 percentage points. Anyways, it says that the inflation eased for the 7th straight month of January, helped by lower costs for used vehicles and offering some relief to consumers struggling with the high prices over the past year. But the Consumer Price Index data released on Tuesday showed us that the prices for a range of goods and services rose by 6.4% over the past 12 months, down slightly from an annual rate of 6.5% that was reported back in December, and a 40-year high of 9.1% in the month of June. Yes, guys, on a month-to-month basis, however, prices increased by 0.5 percentage point in January, compared with a slower gain of around 0.1% back in December. Now, the acceleration rate was driven by shelter costs. Americans have been struggling with soaring prices since last year, resulting in a decline in a real value of their income despite historic wage increases. High inflation has also amplified the risk of going through a recession. So anyways, guys, this latest inflation data shows us that we're moving slightly in the right direction. However, it is still not enough, according to the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, which pretty much means that this has no bearing on whether or not he is going to raise the interest rates come later this month. But again, this is the latest information that we have for the month of January. We know that things are reported a little bit behind because they wait for the full month to actually finish out. But anyways, guys, that is just the latest information on the inflation, and hopefully this inflation will continue to come down. But anyways, guys, we did talk about last week where the IRS sent out a dire warning message telling Americans and citizens and those taxpayers to not go ahead and file their tax returns. Just wait a little bit longer, because they need to figure out whether or not that these stimulus checks, these stimulus payments that were received by millions of Americans, whether or not those are going to be taxed. Well, guys, we did finally receive guidance in regards to whether or not those stimulus payments will actually be taxed. And yes, it says right here that the IRS issues guidance to those that they told to hold off on filing their tax returns. It says that the Internal Revenue Service said this past Friday that most taxpayers who received a one-time or a state-issued payment last year designed to help with the rising cost of living would not need to report that money as income on their federal tax returns. However, they got a little bit confused when it was time to file the tax returns. And yes, guys, of the 21 states that issued these particular payments, residents of 4 states may need to claim the money on their tax returns, according to the IRS. Now, last week, the agency told taxpayers to hold off on filing their returns until it looked into the matter and could provide further guidance on how the payments would be dealt with by the IRS agency. And the 21 states that issued those state stimulus checks or either rebate checks last year are the states of Alaska, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, and Virginia. Disaster and welfare payments are generally not taxable, and according to the IRS agency, it determined that the payments in at least 17 states met that definition. So, Yes, guys, here are the 17 states: Alaska, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Maine, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. And in Alaska, dividend payments that are regularly made to residents generally are taxable, but the state's supplemental energy relief payment will not be taxable. And yes, the agency provided a chart that linked to the state payments that will not be taxable. And here you can see right on the IRS's website at this particular link. I will go ahead and show that on the screen right here. But these are the particular states that will not be taxing their specific either statewide stimulus checks or any type of stimulus checks that was related to a state type of stimulus check. And you can see things like here where we saw in California where the middle class tax refund, Alaska, they had an energy relief payment, and so on and so on. I'm not going to read all of these, but this is a list. I will include a link to this particular page on the IRS.gov's website. I will put that down below in the description so that you can check it out for yourself. And yes, these are the state stimulus checks or stimulus programs that will not be taxable according to the latest information from the IRS agency. So you can check that link out down below, guys. But anyways, guys, the IRS has finally given guidance to the stimulus payment. So it looks like it is actually safe to go ahead and file your tax return for 2022. Moving on, guys. Hey, we did receive some rather strange information as of yesterday in which the United States ended up intercepting at least 4 Russian warplanes near the Alaskan area. Yes, the U.S. military said that it intercepted 4 Russian airplanes near Alaska on Monday. North American Aerospace Defense Command, or better known as NORAD, said it detected 4 Russian aircraft, including these particular bomber planes and the Su-35 fighter aircrafts, entering and operating within the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone, according to a Tuesday statement from the NORAD command. Now, again, NORAD officials said that they had anticipated the Russian activity and were able to quickly scramble 2 F-16 fighter jets to intercept the Kremlin aircraft in the particular Alaskan zone, which covers the international airspace outside of the U.S. and Canada near the far northern state. Now, again, these 2 F-35A fighters, an E-3 Sentry, and 2 KC-135 Stratotankers were also sent to assist in the interception. Now, again, the command noted that the incident is in no way related to objects shot down over the United States and Canada this month, and that the Russian aircraft did not enter the 2 countries' sovereign airspace. Now, NORAD routinely monitors foreign aircraft in the particular Alaskan zone and escorts them out as needed, with the last such occurrence happening back in October. In that incident, 2 Russian bombers entered into the military airspace. So again, guys, that is just a latest information that we're receiving right now, which definitely does not come at a right time, considering that we just shot down these unidentified flying objects in the Alaskan airspace as well as other airspace near the Michigan area. So having to see these particular Russian aircrafts flying into our airspace is definitely not good timing, guys, especially as we are dealing with the issues around China sending over their spy balloons that have been flown over the United States for several days. But anyways, guys, they are saying right here that these Russian aircraft did not pose a threat. However, they did want to let the public know about this information, and those individuals were actually escorted out of Alaskan airspace. So anyways, guys, we also received information in regards to Russia, or should I say United States Americans that are in Russia right now. Well, the United States is telling citizens to go ahead and leave Russia immediately. Yes, the U.S. on Monday issued a top-level advisory telling American citizens to leave Russia immediately and to cease travel to the country as Russia's war against neighboring Ukraine continues, citing risk of harassment and wrongful detention for Americans specifically. Yes, they put out a statement and said, look, do not travel to Russia due to the unpredictable consequences of the unprovoked full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russian military forces. The potential for harassment, and the signaling out of U.S. citizens for detention by Russian government security officials, the arbitrary enforcement of local law, limited flights into and out of Russia, the embassy's limited ability to assist U.S. citizens in Russia, and the possibility of terrorism. Yes, guys, that is the official alert from the U.S. government. Do not fly to Russia. I'm not sure why anyone would want to, but also those U.S. individuals that are in Russia right now to go ahead and leave immediately. That is the warning message from the United States. Could this tell us about the future, guys? Could we be setting up for a potential war with the Russians? I sure hope not, but we continue to provide military assistance and equipment to Ukrainians for them to be able to fight off Russians, which means that we are specifically participating in the war just indirectly. So anyways, guys, hopefully a war is not on our hands here very soon, especially as we are now dealing with the issues of China because of this spy balloon. But anyways, guys, that is just the latest information on Russia and China. Moving on to some little bit of good news, because we did hear from one particular lawmaker, one that everyone pretty much loves, and that is Senator Bernie Sanders. And now he is calling for a minimum salary for our teachers, our public school teachers. He believes that the minimum salary should at least be $60,000. And he is saying that we need to implement that right now. Us lawmakers need to make this happen. And yes, guys, Senator Bernie Sanders called for a minimum salary of $60,000 for public school teachers, capitalizing on the push for President Biden in the State of the Union speech to give public school teachers a raise, an immediate raise. Yes, guys, he said in a statement that, look, we should be paying public school teachers a minimum of at least $60,000 a year. Sanders said at a town hall meeting on Capitol Hill on Monday night with National Teachers Union leaders. He said that, look, I am proud to tell you that I will be introducing legislation to do just that, to raise their minimum wage of an annual salary of up to at least $60,000. Now, again, we already know that some states, depending on where you live at, actually pay a little bit more than that. But then again, some states don't necessarily pay $60,000 at all. So again, Sanders is calling for this minimum salary of $60,000, and I believe that this is a great idea. Personally, I believe that the minimum salary should actually be even more than this, guys. I believe it should be around the $75,000 to $80,000 per year at a minimum. But again, guys, I'm just a random YouTuber talking to a camera in front of me. So anyways, guys, what do you think about this? Do you think that this is a good call? Do you think that it should be more than $60,000? Let me know down below in the comment section, guys, how you feel about what the minimum wage annual salary should be for our public school teachers in this country. And then last but not least, guys, we do have some good information in regards to some stimulus checks that are coming sometime this week. And we are talking about for the state of California. Yes, guys, we all know that they have introduced previously what they're calling a middle class tax refund, which is generally available to residents in California. And yes, guys, some of the stipulations to receive this was you have to have filed your 2020 California tax return by October the 15th of 2021. You did not exceed certain income limits in 2020, such as $250,000 for single filers and for married couples up to $500,000, as well as you couldn't be claimed as a dependent on someone else's 2020 tax year, and you were a California resident for at least 6 months in 2020. Again, this middle class tax refund says that it is between $200 and $1,050, depending on your income, filing status, and whether or not you actually have dependents. The California Franchise Tax Board has an online tool that gives you an estimate of your payment amount. But guys, the good news is that these particular stimulus payments are going to majority of Californians sometime this week. And as you can see down here, guys, as we scroll through, it says that the California income tax return will be issued on a debit card between December the 17th of 2022 and January the 14th of 2023. And the majority of California stimulus payments should be received by eligible residents by the middle of February of 2023, which means that is exactly where we're at right now, guys. Yesterday was Valentine's Day and today is February the 15th, which means that majority of Californians should be receiving their stimulus payment sometime this week. And depending on your income status and a few other things, it could be between $200 and $1,050. Again, California residents are expected to receive their stimulus checks, or better known as the middle class tax refund, on a debit card sometime this week. But anyways, guys, hey, I hope you enjoyed all this information in this video today. Well, anyways, guys, hey, that's all I have for you today. But feel free to check out some of the items down below, because there are a few ways for you to be able to support this channel, as well as opportunities for you to receive things like the Amazon Prime membership for free for 30 days, or you can receive $30 for using the Rakuten Cashback application whenever you shop at any store online. But anyways, if you are interested in any of those, as well as some other nice objects, yes, those links will be down below. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's content and you want to see more, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like today's video, then go ahead and hit the like button for us. It really helps out this channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.